Hello, and welcome back to the Astral Tourist, where we take cosmic detours and tune into the full Blood Worm Moon Eclipse energies. I've been drawing down the moon's power to get ready for what I thought would be a long astral projection. Well, I got a lot more than I bargained for. This may or may not be relevant, but the last couple of days I had an earworm song stuck in my head. Bad Day by Daniel Powder. I think I said that correctly. The song talks about how if you have a bad day, things will eventually get better. The thing is, I hadn't been listening to it at all. It's one from American Idol they play sometimes, and I haven't been listening to that show for like a number of years. So suddenly this song was just in my head. And I wasn't even having any bad days. They've been more ordinary to good days. Sometimes my guides can be really subtle, though, and I was thinking maybe they put the song in my head as a message. But when I asked in meditation if one of them was trying to communicate something with me, I did not get any answers at all. I got nothing. No answers, no little words of encouragement, no little feelings, nada. So last night, as I was falling asleep, my astral body suddenly got really hot. I went into my usual blackout phase that I get sometimes, and then became lucid in an alien hospital, where I was getting my eyes checked. I could tell I was in a future timeline because my astral body was vibrating at a much higher frequency than usual. They told me I had the usual hyperopia, I don't know how to say that one either, for someone my age, which, by the way, is actually presbyopia, I think is how it's pronounced. There was another lady there about 3 feet tall from another planet who asked me about it, and I explained it's age-related in my species, meaning I just need reading glasses now that I'm older. So basically, no big deal. Next, the two of us were taken to another room with more beings in it. There were picture puzzles on a large glass wall that we were supposed to complete. I filled in bumblebees near some flowers because that's what the shapes in the puzzle reminded me of. Bees are one of my power animals, so I thought I'd have a little fun with that. I still wasn't sure what was going on, but I was going along with it just to find out, And one of the alien testers asked the woman I was with about the flowers. So she was busy filling in the flowers, and with colors and things and shapes. As they were asking her about it because she had placed them facing different directions instead of all facing the bees that I had drawn. So they were wondering why aren't the flowers ready for the bees, basically. And she explained that bees fly around and flowers don't always face the same direction all the time. They move, especially if it's windy or something. And it made me realize that she and I made a good team. I liked her. Once I figured out we were being tested on purpose for some kind of an upcoming project. I was just picking that up telepathically from some of the people in the room. I insisted on knowing why. I don't like to be tested, kind of incognito and secret. It bugs me, But before anyone at the test center could respond, my subconscious manifested a small counter with a t-shirt for sale on it. The shirt had a jungle scene with the full blood moon in eclipse. The woman who had filled in the flowers asked me if I was going to buy the t-shirt. So I had manifested it in the astral as well, so everybody could see it. And I told her it was just my mind reflecting information to me, like the moon reflects light. There was no need to buy it because I already had that knowledge inside me. I explained that when my subconscious shows me a jungle scene, it's about primal instincts. Since the moon was in eclipse on my planet, and I was really powered up, my primal instincts were registering as being at their peak. We'll charge. Since my subconscious seemed to be on board with whatever this all was, I decided to try and be a little bit more patient and go along with things just a little bit more, just for a little while longer. The energies at the test center / hospital were incredibly magnetic, and my astral body was getting even hotter than when I had fallen asleep. So really hot. There were some grays there along with humans, and others I couldn't quite identify. Some appeared as just light, in various bulbous forms and such. The woman who filled in the flowers looked mostly humanoid, like I said, about 3 feet tall, very stocky with a more square-shaped face. I had the impression she was from like a heavier gravity planet, but I never asked her directly about that, so I'm not sure where she was from, but she was humanoid and with that stocky build that I've seen before on heavy gravity planets. And the square-shaped faces I've seen before in some locales. So there was something very familiar about her. I don't think we were already friends, but I recognized her species or one like it from somewhere. Next, I was taken to another waiting room where I encountered an alien dentist. He was a taller gray being with darker toned gray skin, as opposed to the shorter grays with medium gray tones. Now, years ago, when I was doing energy work with my late husband, I discovered an implant in my energy body hidden in one of my molars, in one of my teeth. I removed it, but I never figured out how it got there, and that always troubled me. I did not like that one a bit. I allow astral identification sharing, map coordinates, information exchanges, but implants are a hard no for me. No means no on implants. Needless to say, I did not sit down in that dental chair. I told the gray dentist that I was canceling that part of the visit. He did not object. He just smiled like it was no big deal, like really casual, like okay, whatever. Still, I felt like they were being somewhat manipulative, especially since I wasn't informed in advance about these tests. And knowing I have a lot of spiritual protection, I began to wonder again what was really going on. I was really starting to lose my patience again here. I decided I had had enough tests and asked for guidance right away, like a very strong request for guidance I put out there, because I wanted to know what was happening, what's going on here, because I don't like these tests, especially without any knowledge about anything surrounding them. So I started a Kuan Yin mantra just to start things out for the request. So I made the direct request overall, and then I began to do the mantra. But before I could even finish it, I was like, Namo Kuan. And before I could finish it, 4 tall angels appeared, surrounding me in a square. They were in the form of glowing pillars of light, and the words 4 square pillar angels immediately came to mind. One of them definitely had Archangel Michael vibes, but I'm not sure I've ever perceived him as a pillar before, so that was kind of cool. And I saw like these little blue cubes and things. It was all very Matrix-like. He's the one I got the closest look at, and the others I just perceived as tall white pillars. But I could tell they had some different vibes going on in there and stuff. And for those who aren't familiar, my angels and guides often show up in different forms. So this particular time I got 4 pillar angels. They explained that they allowed me to experience this timeline as a small test so that I would be fully aware that if I continue on my current life path, I'll be getting a lot more attention in the spiritual realms. And I needed to be sure I was ready for that. So I thanked them and told them that I felt great about my path. I've been thinking about expanding the podcast over to Spotify maybe. I would still keep it here on YouTube as well. And, at least maybe finishing one of my books finally. I've been putting off finishing my books. Not really putting it off, just been really busy. And, it hasn't been at the forefront of my to-do list is all, but I guess maybe it should be, right? I don't know. The angels also told me that more is coming, and something really big is in the works. They didn't want to blindside me with it, but they wouldn't tell me exactly what it was. All they said was that there would be really big changes, and they would be exciting ones. And I don't know yet if it will involve the physical world or be mostly related to astral projection work. But I do know from previous experience in my past, energy work on that level does tend to attract more attention from other beings. So you need to put more into like some spiritual safeguards and protections and things like that, because it's like putting a giant bullseye on yourself. I've been trying to keep things kind of low key lately, so I don't have to deal with that kind of stuff. So I appreciated the heads up. During our conversation, I admitted I had some hesitation about diving into this bigger level of energy and angelic work without a partner in the physical world as backup. But they assured me that I'm ready to go big again, and I agreed. I've just been holding off from doing more, without a partner. I was used to having a partner in the past there for the bigger stuff. So they just didn't want me to be caught off guard by all the new energy and changes coming my way. Who knows? Maybe they can assign me some more permanent astral helpers, so I feel a little more secure that I'm getting, working with the same beings at least once in a while, instead of somebody different popping up every time. When I ask for a guide, I never know what I'm going to get or who. So yeah, really exciting stuff there. And, they were also pouring more energy and stuff into me. So I'm beyond superpowered right now as far as still being ready for a longer astral projection that isn't a test, at least. At least they gave me that. So the angels left, and I decided to leave the alien test center. I intended to visit my late husband and share the news with him. But instead I phased into a lower astral area where one of his sons from a previous marriage was. So he was married once before I came along into his life, and this is the son from that marriage. So I spent some time with my stepson and asked him to pass on the news if he saw his dad. The rest of the details are a bit fuzzy, but I think I gave him some advice about an untrustworthy friend of his he was kind of trying to call a rat. I kept seeing pictures of a rat when he was talking about this person and telepathically, so I was trying to give him advice about that, but the details on that are fuzzy now. So anyway, I'm sure I will get an astral visit from my passed on husband soon about all of this. It doesn't usually take too long if I request him. Sometimes when somebody's been passed on for a while, in this case many years, it can take like up to a week maybe. But I have a feeling he's going to, probably a couple of days this time. So these two have really similar energy signatures. So this is not the first time something like this has happened, where I requested to visit my late husband and got the stepson instead. My late husband even suspected that they might share part of a soul or an oversoul, but they're not twin souls. They have completely different personalities, but their individual energy signatures are almost doppelganger-like. It's really interesting. They're both great people. It's just a fascinating thing that happens in the astral. When I try to get to him, I sometimes get the son, and the son's gotten me a few times, but I don't know who he was trying to get to, and when he said that was a mistake in the astral. So, that was my full moon experience. Some spiritual testing at a gray alien test center. Massive angelic guidance there. Wow. Yeah. And a visit with my stepson, which is great too. It wasn't what I had in mind when I was preparing and powering up for this full moon journey, but apparently I'm back in the energy work and astral big leagues. No more flying under the radar for me. And my angel guides have some exciting things planned that are already in motion. If you enjoyed this episode, please like, subscribe, and share it with others who may find it useful. Until next time, happy astral travels.